What up, though? It's your girl Ashante, and welcome to another episode of It's Ashante. Today, we're going to unpack a topic that has always kind of been on my mind and made me wonder, how does that make sense? Right now, say all that to say, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm literally just about to unpack yet another term that we like to throw around, and how when we throw this term around, it kind of puts these subconscious belief systems within us that tend to actually hold us back. So, today's topic, we will be diving deep into this whole self made thing, right? Are we really self made or are we interdependent? Let's go. Okay, so like many other terms that get tossed around as buzzwords, right? Self made is one of those terms that seem like more myth than it does reality, because when you really get down to the bottom line, y'all know me, I'm a bottom liner. Nobody truly gets there completely alone. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not financially, not creatively. Somewhere along the line, you got some sort of support because you're not pulling it out your butt. Okay? So, even like the people who we deem as self-made, right? They got there from somebody believing in them, supporting them, teaching them, opening a door, clicking their video, sharing their post, leaving a comment, buying their product. You see where I'm going with this? How do we define self-made? So, let's do our Googles. Y'all know me. I love a good Google. I hope this probably gonna blow up in my face. I should have Googled it before I hopped on camera, but it's okay. Self-made definition. Okay, well, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? A self made person is a person who achieves wealth, success, or prominence entirely through their own efforts, skills, and hard work rather than through inherited money, family connections, or outside privilege. Now, to say that somebody achieves something entirely through their own efforts without having a handout, I get that. But at the same time, self made. To what extent are we really self made? And I'm not saying that to say that people who have achieved things with or without handouts shouldn't have certain bragging rights, shouldn't have certain a certain esteem about themselves. That's not what I'm saying at all, y'all. I'm just saying all of this to say that the term self made could dangerously implant other subconscious beliefs that kind of make other things intertwine. And we're going to get into that. Just give me a second to elaborate and articulate. Okay. So here's the thing. As humans, our survival literally depends on other humans. We depend on each other. So when you say self-made, that doesn't mean you're weak if you're not self-made. Because best believe somebody hand me something that where I ain't got to ever work another day in my life, baby, I'm gonna take it. But like, let's go back to the beginning, right? Let's say you're a baby. You don't become a self-made adult, right? Communities build civilizations. There's not just this one person doing something or accomplishing something on their own, right? One thing about humans is we literally evolve through cooperating with each other rather than being isolated. Trust me, I've done the isolation, hated it. I'm so glad I'm back out. So, um, I fear that we as a society like to romanticize this idea that independence is this okay, so I feel like society wants us to say, "Oh, I did it all by myself. I did it all by myself," because it sounds powerful, and you think that it's again this badge of honor when really it's almost like armor, right? It's a defense mechanism, a protection sort of thing. And I feel like when we say these things, they rarely come from somewhere healthy. It's sometimes pride, or it comes from some sort of trauma, or it comes from some sort of survival mode, almost as if depending on others or allowing in help is weak. That's the message we send when when we use these certain terms, which goes back to another episode, toxic ego. Go back and watch that one too. So when we have this sense of, oh, ain't nobody help me, it almost makes you feel like you're being too dependent. But dependency is different than interdependence, right? Dependency says I cannot function without you, whereas interdependence says we support each other, because who wants to, or who should want to, or who should carry life alone? It get heavy. I really had to learn the hard way to stop being so hyper independent. And I learned that my hyper independence came from trauma that I experienced as a child. See what I'm saying? Which is why I grew up wanting to hustle, which is why I grew up wanting to scream, self made, this and that. But like, that was a tough lesson. I got knocked off, knocked off that pedestal quick, baby, because God don't want me talking like that. So I've learned too, because again, I be in the rooms, and I've learned that a lot of these people who have accomplished certain things, they will quickly say, get a mentor. Right? You need community. You need friendship. You need love. You need family. You need a support system. It takes a village to raise a child. And to be honest, that village really we should be maintaining all throughout adulthood until the day we die. Because at the end of the day, it takes a village really to survive. And then there's this capitalistic, I don't know, I've been making up words, y'all know me, way of, again, going back to hustle culture and how they want us to glorify burnout and isolation. Work harder, nobody's coming to save you, do it alone, and nobody cares, and you don't need nobody. That's crazy to me. And we have to wonder why they want us to have these mentalities. They want to divide and conquer essentially, but it should make you wonder why one minute it takes a village to raise a child, and the next minute when you're an adult, what, they kick you out the village? No, the adults now become a part of that village who help raise up and support each other. Like, let's take it out to nature, right? Let's take it to nature. A tree, right? Although the tree may grow alone, the tree still needs sun. The tree still needs water. The tree still needs soil. The tree still needs the proper environment in order to grow. Although it may grow alone, it's not growing on its own. And it's the same with us. We are all a part of nature. You can try to do it on your own and try to do it yourself, but guess what? If nobody supports you, then what? So if nothing else, your support system, the people who are your supporters, your fans, the people who patronize your business, who purchase your product, who watch your videos, who, those, if nothing else, are the people who made you and helped to make you. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to get out the mentality of thinking that help and mentorship or not doing something completely on our own is weak, because it's not. I feel like there's a true sense of strength when you're able to give and receive support, and it's not all just, I'm doing this myself. That's not true strength. That's a trauma response that truly, truly, truly needs to be unpacked. So typically, people who decide they want to just be this hyper independent person, these are typically the people who felt like growing up, help wasn't safe. Receiving help wasn't safe. Or maybe you would ask for help and nobody would help you. So you built this shell of, I'm just going to do it all on my own. That's a trauma response. Allow yourself to give and receive. I used to be the type of person who I didn't want to receive anything if I didn't have anything to give. Right? I used to be the type of person who like, oh my gosh, if okay, they pay for dinner this time, I'm gonna make it my duty to pay for dinner next time. Or they did me a favor, I'm gonna make it my duty to pay them back and get like, it don't have to be like that. Sometimes it's okay to simply receive and bask in that receival. Hyper independent people tend to find a lot of safety in just doing things themselves because it's giving if I depend on other people, they won't show up, or I'll be disappointed. And in certain instances that may have helped you, that may have protected you, but in a lot of instances you're holding yourself back from potentially what your potentially your fullest potential. Typically, people who are hyper independent think they got to earn rest, or they feel guilty for accepting help from others, or they feel like a burden when they have to ask for help, even if you're just beyond overwhelmed with yourself and with life. But if you are the type of person who everybody can lean on, but when it comes time for you to need to take a little step back, you trying to be Fat Joe, you ain't got nobody that you can lean on. Typically, and trust me, I used to be a very hyper independent person. Now I'm nothing but dependent. Let me stop. But I say all that to say, um, when I tend to run into people who are still hyper independent, I try to speak a little life into them and let them know, like, listen, it's okay to simply receive. You don't always have to give. You don't always have to earn someone's help. Sometimes that's God paying you some good karma back from all the help you done did for everybody else without getting nothing in return. Interdependence is literally just the way of life. That's part of the system. Animals run in packs and tribes, and so should we. We should also be, have a certain desire for community and family and cohesiveness. You got some countries who literally strive on what is it? The opposite of individualism. Oh gosh, they all work together so that it's for the greater good of everybody. I don't know why over here in America they want us to be so separate from each other that we over here fighting about the dumbest stuff like skin color in 2026. Don't start with me in the comments. In order for me to pretty much break out of my hyper independence, I just had to get literally consciously used to accepting things, accepting compliments. And I had to ask myself, am I independent because I genuinely enjoy my autonomy, or or did somewhere along the way I feel unsafe for asking for help or accepting help? Like where did I learn that needing people was dangerous or unsafe? And in asking myself those questions and in gaining that self-awareness, I had to learn that, okay, the goal is not to be just this self-made, rah, rah, did it all by myself kind of person. The goal was to become self-aware enough to know when to stand on my own and then to allow others to stand with me. I've gained so much success by networking and collaborating and allowing myself to get in good with others. Highly recommend you find a community, you find your people, you find you a mentor, and you get to it. Being self-made is a trauma response. Allowing support to come in is not a weakness. And that concludes today's episode of It's Ashante. I hope to see you next time. Support your girl. Give me some support while we at it. Like, comment, share, all the things. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.